from CAVA. 118,000. But it's clean. Look, I still have a 3,000.
Clean coal.
It's 3,000.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now finished with our climb around the Y, and we're now facing the correct direction of
that
travel,
is the coal.
westbound.
That is the clean. That's science. He doesn't trust my
here's
science.
The catch. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the
So this is where they
backdrop
fix
tour.
trains.
How y'all doing? Great. We enjoying our trip today so far?
Look at this train. Look, you see you have the eyes. That's an eye. That's an eye. That's a nose. And that's the mouth. They actually put effort in to give the train a little personality.
That would be a good video.
Nice. All the work that you have to do to get something that's 100 years old to work exactly as it did when you first had it. It takes a lot of really awesome craftsmanship.
Yeah.
Lots of craftsmanship. This is beautiful. You guys do an amazing job.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Hope you're having a lovely day. So today we are in beautiful Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we are at a train museum. It looks like a railroad, like old train car museum. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to see how clean coal is. So I'm going to keep this as apolitical as possible. I've heard people say that there's clean coal. You've heard this from people in the administration. I've never seen a coal-powered rail train before because I was born in Brooklyn. So I thought that I would take this to the museum, and I figured it would be kind of cool to count the particles. So right now we're outside, and we're about 3,600. There was about 2,000 in the parking lot, and I want to see what happens as I approach. As I approach the train with the smokestack, we are still at 3,600 particles. This is the smokestack from the train. That is from the American Locomotive Company, Richmond Works. Pretty damn cool. And even though I am right next to the train, I am at 3,500. Wait, 38, here we go. It's starting to go up. Nope, still pretty low. But so far, looks like my coal is pretty clean. Again, we're gonna keep this as apolitical as possible. We're purely focusing on the numbers and the science. We're getting a little closer to the train. This is about as close as I think I'm gonna get without going to prison for breaking and entering. And as you can see, I'm still at a 3,300 score, which is pretty nice. So it was 3,600 when we were by the grass, and then it's 3,300 by the train, which means the coal is actually cleaning the air. But I have now gone near the train as the passengers are coming into the train, and as you can see, my particle count has gone from 3,000 to 43 to 70,000. I'm gonna walk right back over there to show you. And also the train made a noise when that happened. Yeah, here we go, right over here. So you stand over here, and the particle count goes from about 3,600 to about 11,000. So over here, no. Right, okay, here we go. It's close to that engine over there. See, that's the thing that's making the noise. So let's see if I extend this particle counter out, what I get. Okay, that's pretty wild. So the closer that I get, it kind of goes up exponentially. Wow, the coal appears to still be cleaner than a CAVA. So a coal-powered locomotive is still considerably cleaner than a CAVA. It's actually cleaner than a CAVA restaurant. It's cleaner than a CAVA. It's not as clean as my store. It's cleaner than CAVA, and it's cleaner than Potbelly Restaurant.
So I
got a 75,000.
We're gonna go through a tunnel while it's going on a slight incline, and it will spike.
Let's see. Okay, we're gonna have some
Do you
fun.
hold your breath through the tunnel?
I don't. I'm used to it.
You're used to it, yeah. And then we can, they'll show you, we can go up to the locomotive and you can stick it in later. We're gonna go
But
like
I want to stick it in now.
3 miles.
3 miles. We're going. You may. Here, that's a good.
When an authentic coal-fired steam engine is used, you may experience contact with smoke, coal, soot, and cinders while in non-climate controlled areas. Oh shit. I can't believe this is still cleaner than a freaking CAVA. That's crazy. Not that that's saying much.
So the amount of rail traffic through this town is crazy.
Yeah.
And we have the number of just like abandoned rail lines all over the place are rail line right behind it that goes to nowhere. It ends at our office.
Oh, wow.
And the amount of time they back trains in, they're constantly playing on with this Tetris red train, trying to reconfigure cars and everything. It's nuts. Diesel engines all over. The Chattanooga used to be the most polluted city in the country.
Honestly, it's not that bad.
It's not now. It's starting at like Walter Cronkite.
It's probably because we have all these coal-powered trains going on.
It was
the clean
because
coal.
it was much worse than the trains. They did all of the munitions during World War II were made, and there was huge steel foundries downtown, all run off of coal mines.
Our restoration back shops.
Okay, we've started moving. We're going about 3 miles an hour in the part of the
As we
town that
begin our
already
trip
went to
here
8,300.
today, you may not know this, but right now we are heading in the wrong direction.
Correct. We're on the wrong way.
For our journey here today, we need to be going west. And right now, we are going east.
You can actually, we're smelling the diesel
So,
exhaust.
how are we going to fix this issue? Well, we're going to turn our entire train around on a section of track that we call the Y, spelled W-Y-E.
Oh jeez. Here we go. That's that.
Now, in just
clean
a
coal.
second, our train's going to be coming to a stop. And
So
then
that's
after
4,000
that
parts
stop,
per million?
We are going to go
4,000
backwards.
particles per cubic centimeter.
Particles per cubic centimeter.
At the very back.
See, when
of
it
our
stops,
train
it goes
is
down to
our
33,
conductor,
but it goes up to 40 or
and
50K
Zach's back there
when they're
to
moving.
perform a maneuver that we call
Well, I can't imagine a better test
shove.
for this thing than being on a
When
coal-fired
Zach is
train.
protecting the shove,
The fucked up
he's
part is it's never
essentially
been dirtier
serving
than
as the eyes
CAVA.
of our engineer during our
I mean,
time on the
restaurants
Y,
are.
because Kyle
this
and
is
Joseph
why
are now at the very
everybody's
back of our
realizing
train,
that natural
whereas Zach is now
gas-fired
in the very front.
stoves are terrible. Like,
So,
natural
Chipotle
gas-
is 20,000 though.
Engineer via the
20,000.
radio,
Chipotle got
basically
20,000.
let him know
And a fried
of
chicken
either
place got
instructions
6,000.
in our path
And what
or
was
how much
CAVA?
space
120,000.
we have to go
Whoa,
around.
shit.
Potbelly was 200,000.
They must just not have indoor.
So here we go, folks.
Yeah, I think it's about the
around on
quality of the
Y,
ventilation.
Because why not?
Why not?
Okay, we're moving again. Let's see.
All these leaves are new in the last.
As we begin,
Were you going to do this anyway?
I'll go ahead and talk about
Were you going to do this
something
anyway, or did you just
today.
know I was
Today
bringing
we'll be
this?
traveling on a former Southern Railway main line.
Shout out to
built
Kyle
back
at
in
I think.
I've been wanting
the coolest tour
behind the
guide.
scenes tour,
for the
and
East
it's
Tennessee
funny.
and Georgia Railway, the ET&G for short. In 1894, the ET&G would go on to merge with several other smaller railroads to form the Southern Railway.
So we're gonna
which
go
then ran
through a
from
tunnel,
1894
and that's
until
when this will be in
1982.
effect.
Is it because they go faster through it, or because no ventilation? Zero ventilation.
There's no ventilation.
As
And it's on a bit of an
Norfolk
incline, so it has to work harder to get us up. The peak of the grade for this
would
whole
be used
trip
as
is
a
in the
mainline
center
by
of
the
the
Southern
tunnel.
Railway.
How long are you in the tunnel for?
1894 until it was abandoned.
I can hold my breath that long.
54. Reasons for which I'll explain later in our trip today.
Now, you should be like, because we're going the other way. The smoke's
The wind
going
is
out.
blowing this way, so
Yeah.
you're not going to get it as much. Because when the wind was, we were going with the wind.
Pushing us backwards. It's going to pull us. We're turning around.
Okay, so the wind for those watching is flowing this way. So when we were going that way, even slowly, this was going up to 40 or 50K. But now that we're going against the wind, it's keeping at 3,200. But it's clean. Look, I still have a 3,000.
Clean coal.
It's
You're saying
3,000.
this is low sulfur
Ladies and
coal.
gentlemen, we have now finished with our climb around the Y, and we're now facing the correct
See?
direction of
That is the
travel,
coal.
westbound.
That is the clean. That's science.
Now, as mentioned,
Trust
this
us.
is a former Southern Railway main line built back in 1859.
He doesn't
But
trust my
here's
science.
The catch. The tracks we
I have a calibration
they were not
certificate
built
for this,
at
thank you
this
very
current
much.
height. Next to that sign, there is a tree, and on that tree is painted a yellow line, which represents the high water mark
Well,
of
the way
the
you
Great
die is
Flood
like-
of 1867,
Oh.
sitting in here today at 9 feet above the ground.
Oh, okay. The moment you smelled it, it hit spiked to 91.
Yeah.
Thing is, all particles are not made equal.
91,000?
Yeah, it hit 91. It's very fast at reacting. The moment I felt the whiff, it went up.
Speaking of water, we are now about to cross over our first
Yeah, highway.
bridge here
I want a
today,
version of this
which is
that tells
over
you
the
like
South
what the particles
Chickamauga
are.
Creek.
Yeah.
See, like 8,000 is like.
In the creek below, you may
We
spot
probably would have
creatures
to capture
such
on
as
the tunnel. You can stick that out, but the walls of the tunnel are not very far from the
Alrighty, folks, and you are now hearing
Whoa.
the whistle of locomotive number
244,000.
6, meaning we are approaching the right side tunnel. If you have a flashlight app on your cellular device, I do encourage you to have those up at this time.
Oh dear Jesus. 350,000, 500,000.
It'll get worse.
Clean coal, baby. Clean coal. Trust the science. I don't even have the thing out of the car all the way. Oh, 500? I've never seen this go over 5. I think 500 is where it loses count.
You think that's the max?
Soldering is not as bad as this.
Well, that's a good metric on a coal train in a tunnel. That's a good point on the line.
And just like that, we have cleared
It was quite a bit better here when we were in the
west
locomotive.
side of Machinery Ridge. But what this means for us is that our destination.
I'm not inhaling until we're below 100K.
The longest train
Now,
tunnel in the
as
US
I
is
mentioned
7.5
earlier,
miles.
we are going to have our turntable demonstration and our back shop tour, in which I do encourage you all to come off of our train and view these unique experiences. As seeing a turntable
25.
turn isn't exactly an everyday thing anymore. That being said, you can stay on board our train if you like.
Were you
We'll
breathing?
have our depot.
You permanently damaged the lungs of my new executive director.
director.
So I will conclude this video by determining that coal is not clean. And if somebody tells you that coal is clean, I would highly question that statement along with other things that they may be telling you. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. This is not a for effect. It's actually fucking up my... I'm gonna find some place to go that's clean. See you later. That's it for today, and as always, I hope you learned something.